So today I'm going to talk about the Season 2, Episode 15, episode of Once Upon a Time called The Miller's Daughter. And so I just watched it for the second time. I know I said I was going to post on this past Monday, but I just kind of got distracted and didn't get a chance to, so I didn't. And then I was going to post it on this coming Sunday, or no, this coming Monday, and I was going to do it as a joint review with episode 16 of season 2, but I decided what I need to do from now on is watch the episode twice. Excuse me, let me get and see how because the first time I want to watch it to enjoy it. The second time I want to be able to review it more efficiently. So now, since I've watched episode 15 again, I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are from watching it just a little while ago. Okay, and before I do that, if you have not seen the episode, which I'm assuming a lot of people have, but if you haven't, just in case like you've been or you haven't seen the episode yet, I'm going to let you know that there are going to be major spoilers in this review. So if you don't want to watch it, go ahead and click to another video or anything, and I'll go ahead and give you a couple seconds to do that now. Okay, I'm assuming everybody who has seen this, who is still watching this review, has seen the episode. Okay, now when I'm going to talk about it, it's going to be in order, kind of in order of how things happen. So don't expect it to be like, okay, the review, then a whole bunch of other stuff. No, it's just going to be, or it's going to be everything together, like from Manhattan, when they're in Manhattan, and when they're Fairy Tale Land, and when they're in Storybrooke. No, it's going to be just in order of how the episode happened. Sorry about that. I know I didn't need to say that, but I did. That's just me. Okay, so I thought it was funny how at first when we see Snow in Fairy Tale Land when she was younger, or as they say in Fairy Tale Land, that was. I love how you can see that Snow wasn't always as nice as she is now. She was actually kind of a snob or brat when she was a child. And I just love how Bailey Madison portrays that. And then when it gets to where you see Johanna and Mary Margaret, when they have a little reunion, I love that. I love that. That was so sweet. And I also found it really, really neat to how Snow got her name. Now, I'll say when Cora mentions that about how the map was fake, I loved and hated that. I mean, I loved that Hook did that because that delayed Cora that much longer, but I hate it because that also because that meant it gave him time to go stab Rumble, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. I think it's kind of funny how Mary Margaret and David, their whole attitude towards gold is changing, or has changed. I mean, I think honestly in Fairy Tale Land, you could obviously see that they hated him, but now I think partially because of Henry being their grandson as well as Gold's grandson, I think that kind of is like almost like an emotional barrier to keep them from actually killing him now, not wanting to kill him anymore. That's helping them not want to kill him anymore. And now, okay, also, and when they're, now we're going to, a little bit to Manhattan. I love seeing the father-son moment between, Neil and Henry. And, when Emma says that Henry will realize that she was lying to, protect him, Henry, from Neil. Rumble was right about how she is beginning to sound like Regina. And she definitely still has feelings for Neil. When she kind of hesitated, like, no. She obviously still has feelings for him. Now, back in Storybrooke, I kind of have begun, I thought it was so cool when Regina wanted to start being good, but, I actually feel sorry for her, because, when she actually tried to be good, bad things happened, like she said. People weren't very accepting of the fact that she wanted to be good. It's like they didn't want to believe her. I believed that she wanted to be good, but it just took just a tiny thing to get her back on the wagon, if you will. Now, I'm gonna say something else about Bailey Madison. She portrayed Snow so realistically. She always has. Okay, yeah, and I'll explain more about, well, actually, she makes Snow, like I said, she makes her seem realistic and makes it feel like she's an actual person that you could go, that Snow, even though she's a fairy tale character, you could still meet her somewhere. Okay, now back where they're in Manhattan, when Henry says, "Can I call you Grandpa?" and then Gold says, "You can call me whatever you like." That to me sounds and looks like, just the expression, just how he looked when he said it, Gold, it honestly seems like he's trying to keep from getting too close to Henry, but he's having a hard time doing it. It's like, to me, it's almost like he's like, I can't get close to this kid because the seer said he's going to be my undoing, so it's like, but he's my grandson. And it's like he doesn't want to, but he can't. Still, somewhere in the back of his mind, he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to stab him. In the back of his mind, it's almost like the angel and the devil on his shoulders. The angel saying, but he's your grandson, and the devil saying, that if he will be your undoing, so you have to kill him. And, okay, even though I knew it was coming, I still didn't want Hook to stab Rumple. Even though I've already seen the episode once before, and I'd even seen that in the previous, like, maybe the fangirl in me was like, please let that have been a real part of the episode. But, of course it was, as we all see. Now, and I honestly, it just made me feel so good when I heard Neil call Gold Papa, and he just said, Papa. Kind of like, that was just so sweet. And, after that, when they got him back to the apartment, and Henry, when he asked him, basically, are you alright? When he got mad at him, I was still, even though, like I've said, as I've said already, a couple of times, even though I've already seen this episode, it still just was like, he accused Henry. He said, it's your fault that we're here. You brought us back here. that was one of the, and because of that, that was one of the few times that I was actually scared of Gold. That he seemed kind of scary then. But I still want to kill Hook for poisoning and stabbing Rumple. I mean, he may be sexy, but that don't matter. Okay, when, when Neil says that he can fly Hook's ship, that pretty much tells me, that pretty much obviously says he's been to Neverland before, and also when he says, if this had been the first world that I had stopped in, if this was the first world I had come to, I'd be over 100 years old by now, or however he says it. That also obviously tells me that Neverland was where he went to. Now, when we see, now that we're back into Fairy Tale Land, the Fairy Tale Land that was. Honestly, even though I hate what she did, Cora did an excellent job of pretending to be the Blue Fairy. You could tell that she almost was able to manipulate Snow into using dark magic just to save her mother. Thank goodness. And now I'll tell you, for a while, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, I couldn't write anything, review any part of it, because as it's the second time I watched it, I was like, she's doing what? I so want to kill Cora. Killing Johanna, worst thing she could do. Not to mention poisoning Snow's mother. And actually, from seeing the sneak peeks for the Miller's Daughter, it kind of helped me to see this in a little more different perspective. I'm thinking Cora, from seeing one of them especially, that Cora was in line for the throne to be queen, and I think she hates that Ava became queen, and she knew she would never get to, and that if you've seen the sneak peeks, you know that Ava tripped Cora when Cora was bringing sacks of flour. So that doesn't help anything. Anyways, I also think Regina's finally seeing Cora for who she is and realizing that Cora is using her. And also to me, it makes me realize Cora's like a lot of mothers you hear about, where they want to live through their daughters, because she wanted Regina to become queen, when really it's always been about she wanted to be queen, and since she didn't get to be queen, she didn't want Ava to be queen, or Snow. So that was kind of like she just was using Regina she's living through Regina almost in a way. Now when we're back in Manhattan, when Emma finds out that Neil's engaged, I could see, even though she was like, like almost like she was trying to like, she was just think about, she was like, he's engaged. Just like, he's engaged. And she obviously doesn't want him to be. Even though she may not outwardly admit it. And the note of about the whole episode, or on the last little part of the episode, I can see why Snow is conflicted about whether paying a price for the greater good is worth it or not. I mean, you lose all these things just for the greater good. To her, and Snow's like, why is that a good thing? Why can't I have my happily ever after? Why do I have to lose things for other people's happily ever afters? And finally, on a last note doesn't really have to do with this episode so much as the next episode, I'm so glad Cora's gonna die. Now, the reason I'm not saying anymore that I hope Cora is going to die is because if you look on Twitter, there's a picture that shows that either Rumple or Cora is going to die. Well, since from what I read that the creators have said, and I'm pretty sure they really said this, even though at Haley Fist they didn't say anything about that. Belle will get her memory back, and Rumple will be an important part in helping her get it back. So obviously, he can't die. Plus, there'd be some pretty pissed fans if he died, and they would be more pissed about him getting killed than Cora not getting killed. Actually, I think they'd probably be about pissed just as much as one as the other. Okay, so that's my review and my other little rambles. Sorry about all the rambling I did. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel. And you can follow me on Twitter at Miss_LaceyBell. You can find a link to that below in the description. Okay, I'll talk to you later, and look for my next review sometime on Monday, probably Monday afternoon.